It all starts at a chaotic construction site when a frantic worker screams at his coworker to stop digging. Buried deep in the dirt is something terrifying. Within hours, the police and Chief Superintendent Susanna are on high alert, staring at photos of a massive unexploded bomb. The call goes out to Major Will, an elite bomb disposal expert who doesn't even blink. He glances at the picture, diagnoses it as a World War II relic, and demands a massive 800-meter evacuation zone. The city plunges into panic as the military and police flood the streets, forcing families out of their homes. Rahim, a quiet local, desperately helps his elderly parents navigate the chaos. But while the neighborhood clears out, one specific apartment building next to a bank seems totally abandoned. A cop knocks, hears nothing, and moves on. He has no idea that inside the shadows of that very apartment, a man named Corrales and his crew are waiting in absolute silence. They aren't victims of the evacuation. They've been waiting for it. Down at the bomb site, Major Will takes command. The stakes are impossibly high. He shows his team a gruesome video of a bomb disposal failure from 2 years ago that leveled half a town. To prevent a spark from setting off this new monster, Will orders the entire grid's power to be cut. And the moment the lights go out in the city, the real show begins. Corrales and his crew slip into the dark basement, hauling heavy tools they had smuggled in days prior. They kill the main locks, set up a hidden generator via a dumpster alley, and position security cameras to watch the police outside. Then they start drilling through the heavy basement wall, aiming straight for the bank vault next door. Talk about a perfect crime. When the power cut triggers the bank's backup alarms, a suspicious bank employee tries to warn the police perimeter. But the cops, overwhelmed by the blackout, shrug it off as a system glitch and send him away. Every time a patrol car passes by, Corrales signals his crew, and the deafening drills go dead silent. Meanwhile, Major Will discovers the bomb has a highly volatile time fuse. He can literally hear it ticking through a microphone. It could detonate any second. Will deploys a high-tech magnetic clock stopper to freeze the timer. Everyone holds their breath, takes cover, and activates the device. It works. The ticking stops, but they still need 5 long hours to build a mitigation wall for a controlled blast. 5 hours is exactly what the heist crew needs. Breaking through the final layer of the vault wall, they hit steel and switch to a blinding welding torch. Finally, they are in. They spray down the security cameras and begin emptying safety deposit boxes, stuffing bags with millions in cash and glittering jewelry. Corrales even finds a special box containing something that makes his eyes light up. They have to leave the massive gold bars because they're too heavy, but they have more than enough wealth to change their lives forever. But just as things look perfect for the thieves, the military camp descends into chaos. Corporal Martin notices something highly disturbing about the bomb. Parts of the shell aren't rusty at all. For an 80-year-old weapon, it looks pristine. Before they can investigate, a scanner starts flashing. The clock stopper is malfunctioning and the bomb is ticking again. The soldiers scatter for cover, but Will refuses to run. He grabs a drill, preparing to pierce the fuse and inject a clogging solution. It's suicide work. At the same time, the police command center spots a strange thermal heat signature near the bank building on a drone camera. Susanna orders Will to halt, but Will is distracted by Martin, who risks his life to move the malfunctioning clock stopper. Will screams at him to get back, but the tension is snapped by a sudden, deafening roar. The ticking stops and the bomb detonates. A horrifying shockwave rips through the streets, destroying the police drones and shattering windows. Will and his men are blasted backwards, surviving by the skin of their teeth. But the blast also rocks the heist team. In the alley, the cops monitoring the thermal signature are thrown to the ground, heavily injured. Corrales uses the explosion as cover to sprint through the smoky alleyways. The cops spot him, but he locks a heavy gate behind him, forcing them to wait for bolt cutters. Now the escape plan goes into hyperdrive. Corrales and his partner reach the roof and deploy 2 massive heavy-lifting drones. They strap the stolen loot into cages and send the drones flying across the city skyline. To the police below, they just look like official military drones navigating the blast zone. The drones land perfectly on a distant rooftop where a getaway woman packs the cash into a van. Meanwhile, the other half of the crew puts up fake construction signs over a manhole cover and slips into the sewers. By the time the police realize the bank has been completely cleaned out, the crew is moving through the underbelly of the city. Corrales and his partner navigate a high-speed foot chase through a parking garage, dodging cops before dropping into the sewer lines themselves. They meet up with the van, swap license plates, strip off their tracking uniforms, and successfully breeze past a police checkpoint using fake water company paperwork. They made it. They actually pulled off the heist of the century. The crew arrives at a secluded countryside safe house to celebrate, but the good vibes die instantly. Forced to strip and burn their clothes to erase forensic evidence, 2 crew members accidentally reveal they hid extra gold in their pockets. Trust is already broken. Then Corrales opens the special box to reveal the ultimate prize, $30 million in uncut diamonds. He promises an even split, then steps outside to make a private phone call. Suddenly, the door kicks open. Armed thugs burst in, brutally beating the crew and shooting one of them in the chest. It's a setup, and the mastermind behind the ambush is none other than Corrales and his thug cousin Ludo. Corrales locks his former crew in the garage, leaving them to die or rot. Inside the safe house, Ludo demands to know where Corrales got the info on these diamonds. Corrales reveals a dark past. Years ago, he was a smuggler flying into conflict zones, moving blood diamonds for a corrupt billionaire boss who eventually betrayed him and left him for dead. This entire heist wasn't about money, it was about burning his old boss to the ground. Ludo smiles and demands half of the diamonds. An aggressive argument breaks out, and an enraged Ludo slams a heavy tool onto the table, smashing one of the diamonds to pieces. The room goes dead silent. Diamonds don't smash. Corrales frantically checks the others. They are all fakes. Replica stones. Corrales genuinely didn't know, but Ludo thinks he's being played. Ludo's thugs pin Corrales to the table, and Ludo brutally breaks his hand with a tool before throwing him into the trunk of a car to meet a grim fate. So, where are the real diamonds? Cut to Rahim, the quiet immigrant neighbor from the beginning. While his family is escorted back to the apartment to gather their things, Rahim quietly walks up to the roof, digs into a flower pot, and pulls out the bag of genuine $30 million diamonds. He hides them inside the lining of a suitcase, completely undetected. Back at the safe house garage, the surviving crew members manage to cut their ropes, smash the garage door down with their van, and use a digital tracker to locate Corrales. They trace Ludo's car to a rural road, ramming them through a fence. A brutal shootout begins. Corrales is trapped in the trunk, listening to the gunfire, terrified. Suddenly, the trunk pops open. His old crew drags him out, puts a plastic bag over his head, and begins to suffocate him for his betrayal. But out of nowhere, a sniper bullet pierces the air. The crew is shot down one by a mysterious savior stepping out of the shadows. It's Major Will. The bomb expert and the thief were partners from the very beginning. They escape together, leaving the remnants of the crew to steal Ludo's left-behind cash. But Chief Superintendent Susana finally pieces the puzzle together. Forensics reveals the bomb wasn't from World War II. It was stolen from modern military storage. Even crazier, Corporal Martin discovers Major Will's clock stopper was intentionally rigged to fail. Susana digs into Will's military past in Afghanistan. It turns out Rahim was Will's wartime interpreter, and Rahim's brother was the night watchman at the construction site who helped plant the bomb. Corrales was there too, working the gemstone mines. It was a flawless four-man alliance. Years ago in Afghanistan, Corrales was captured by warlords. Major Will and Rahim saved his life, but they accidentally triggered a massive minefield. Working together under heavy enemy fire, Corrales dug up the explosive control box while Will and Rahim protected him. They survived by relying on each other, forging an unbreakable bond of brotherhood. 10 years later, they used those exact same skills to execute the ultimate revenge. In the present day, the police raid Will's house only to find blueprints for a modified bomb and old news articles about a tragic military cover-up. But they are far too late. In Istanbul, Corrales, Major Will, and Rahim meet up in a lavish room, successfully selling the real diamonds for a mind-boggling fortune and splitting it evenly. Corrales finally buys a massive natural wildlife reserve in Africa. Rahim builds a sprawling luxury compound for his family, safe and wealthy. And Major Will? He donates almost his entire share to a global charity dedicated to clearing active landmines in war zones, curing his conscience once and for all. They used a terrifying weapon of destruction to buy their absolute freedom. If you were in Rahim or Will's shoes, would you risk destroying a city block and facing life in prison to secure your family's future forever? Or is some money just too dirty to touch? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more intense storytelling breakdowns. Thanks for watching.